Hello, Lynette here. I almost didn't do this today because the news is so depressing right now that I hate to share, but I had to share this one. It's the Facebook new community standards thing they've put out, and there's this gal that does a blog, Palmer's blog, and I'll put the link in there. And she had a link in that to the Facebook community standards rules. And I think they're very new. I think this is like just within the last week or so. And I'm not going to read them to you. I'm just going to touch on a few high points, because if you haven't run screaming into the night and left Facebook yet, you have to. It has become obscene what they are doing. And for those of you who say, well, it is a privately owned company, they can do what they want. The fact of the matter is, there's people that are putting ads on there, paying real money. It is a business. It has to operate on a business model, and it can't be Lord and Savior. They have to decide what they are and be that. If they want to be a publishing company, then they're going to have to lose all this other stuff, all of their ad revenue. It would make sense. If they want to be a business that operates on ad revenue, then they're a platform that is public. This is the way I look at it anyway. So let me just touch on a few high points. They don't allow hate speech because it creates an environment of an intimidation and exclusion. Now that sounds fine, except what is my intimidation and what is your intimidation and her exclusion are so subjective. You cannot place a value on those things in the public sphere, because you can't. It's not something that is you can define. And if you're self-referencing something, then you can still do it. In other words, if I say, I am such a slut. Okay, the word slut, that's actually in one of their lists. That's okay. I have the feeling after reading this that they have a literal army of real people on top of their algorithms and bots that they use that are going through this stuff. If you read this, and you have to read it, it's very short, and it'll make your brain melt. You get the impression that these are, once somebody blocks you or complains, reports you is their word, then people, I guess, look at the situation and they decide. Sally from Indiana, who has the IQ of a rock, but they hired her, decides, well, gosh, I think that's mean. You're gone. Okay. So they say that maybe it's not hate speech, but if it's bullying speech. So then we have grades of speech, not just words, or you can't speak out against the government, or you can't speak out against, the normal things that are in third world countries and whatever. Hitler wouldn't let you say bad things about Hitler. He got pissed off. Okay. So the first thing is there's safety. This is what these people have a thing about: safety, safe spaces, safe speech. You need to feel safe and respected. Why? Why? I am out here making YouTube videos because I want to. And if you comment on my videos and say something disrespectful, my feelings might get hurt. I've had a couple that were a little bit wonky, and I can delete them. I can leave them there. I can go cry in my beer, but it's not their responsibility for what my response was. You see that? You need to make it easy to report financially violating. They have made it easy to report potentially violating content. In other words, they're basically encouraging people. It's easy. Just report somebody. Just push that report button. This is so much like, you remember the whole story of the Nazis, how they had the youth movement and they were encouraged to turn in their parents. That's the same thing. This is the worst part. The words that they have said will get you taken off Facebook. And of course, you get warnings, and they talk about tiers of warnings, tiers of bad behavior. If you're a super bad kid, they're going to just yell at you. If you're not that bad, they're going to yell at you. If you're a super bad kid, they're going to send you in the corner. And if you're really bad, they're going to spank you. Sorry, get excited. These words: retarded, cretin, low IQ, stupid, idiot, cheap, free riders. I hate, you can't say I hate, you can't say I don't like, you can't say somebody is gross or vile or disgusting. Well, that pretty much lets out all conversation about Nancy Pelosi as far as I'm concerned. But whose interpretation of this? Who is going to decide this stuff? So if I push report, somebody has sent me a Facebook post that says, I hate Nancy Pelosi because she's a blankety blank retarded cretin. I know that's repetitive there. Then that person is going to get their whole Facebook account. I mean, this is so bad. They got so many, it's like, whoo, shoosh, I have the right to report that person. Why am I God? I can just push the button and say, I don't want to get this person's, talk to this person anymore. I am not a Facebook user at all. I never have been. And like I mentioned in another video, I only have an account so that I could do my walk away video half a year ago. So I'm actually not knowledgeable on how Facebook works, but I am knowledgeable about censorship. So you can't say, I hate so-and-so, because that's going to get you, their bot's going to catch you, and they're going to determine that it's not nice for you to say, I hate Dr. Stanley because I think he acts inappropriately. Now, Dr. Stanley might be a child molester, but I'm not allowed to say I hate him. You see, you could extrapolate this out, and it's just terrifying. And lastly, they don't allow criticism. Oh no! This is the best. They do allow criticism of immigration policies as long as they are about restricting those policies. In other words, I can say that I think that our current policy is terrible because it's not strict enough. No, it's not good, easy enough for people to get into this country. So that's okay. I can call Donald Trump a cretin because he doesn't allow more people in, and our immigration policy is bad that way. See? So they've determined all by themselves that the current immigration policy of being strict is bad, and Facebook knows better. So this is what I see as our huge pothole in the road for 2019 is censorship. It has tentacles, like so many things. It's not just the thing, it's the way it goes out, the ripple effect, right? And you think about how in this next year, there's going to be this slow buildup of stuff related to the 2020 election. And we got about a year here. And then come 2020, it'll kick off in high gear as far as getting ready. And they're going to use this next year to silence as many voices as they can. They have already, and this is Patreon. They're the funding platform for people's YouTube channels for the most part. And maybe some of you have a Patreon account where you give $5 a month. It comes out of your bank account. And Jordan Peterson gets $4.50 a month, and Patreon pockets 50 cents. Well, they have deplatformed people because they don't like them. In other words, to do business with them, you have to follow their rules of behavior. It's just about behavior. It's about whether you're a good enough person or not. So they've taken Sargon of Akkad, who's Carl Benjamin, granddaddy of YouTubers, been around forever. He's a British guy. He's I would call him a centrist. Sometimes I get annoyed with him because he's a little, kind of leans over to the left a little bit. And, that's fine. But he never says anything that is out of line. And in fact, what this whole incident was, he was at somebody else's, like a speaker was speaking, some woman. Maybe you've heard this story. Anyway, he said something to her. There was a back and forth. It was something he did that wasn't even related to his own personal YouTube channel. And the other guy, Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin have decided to leave Patreon because they see what they're doing as so vile that they have, by the middle of January, they will have closed up their Patreon account. So if you want to give money to them, you have to use one of the other ways. The problem is that Patreon is the best. Apparently, it works very easily for both giver and taker, and they're having some issues there. Tim Pool, he is losing about $5,000 a month because a lot of his donators have said, we're not going to deal with Patreon because they're such scumbags. And so while they look for another way to give him money, he's losing $5,000 a month. This is a mess. They're all of these people, the YouTubes, the Facebook, the Twitter, they're all working together, and they're working against people on the right. So the way to fight this is, as Tucker Carlson said last night, he said we have to start saying one honest thing a day out loud, because we have been silent too long. We've let ourselves be afraid of somebody knocking our Trump hat off their head or pushing us down to the ground if we wear a t-shirt that they don't like. We just have to. We've far too long. We've just been like, what's wrong with you? Okay, I'm going to walk away. No more. Now we have to say something. When we hear something in the grocery store, we have to say, actually that's wrong. Mr. Trump didn't say that. What he said was. Because until we start doing that and standing up for ourselves, and the comedians and the actors out there, they have to join. They have to stand up for themselves. That African-American comic, I forget his name now, Kevin something, he should have stood up for himself and said, you people, this is just crap. But he didn't. He folded, like they all do. And it has to stop. So anywho, that's my rant for the day. Close your Facebook account. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to watch the Palmer blog too. I'll put that at the description. Bye-bye.